Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you, students? I hope that you're all fine. Inshallah, in this video, we are going to discuss and do the exercises which are in your activity book, page 40. So, all of you, please open your activity book, page 40, and let's take the notes and do the exercises together. Okay? Now, the first exercise that we have here is the vocabulary exercise. Let's read it and see what does it want. Complete the following paragraph with the words from the box. One of the words or one word is not needed. So here we have some words, okay, and we want to complete the paragraph that is after it with these words, but there's only one word that is not needed or one word that we are not going to write. Okay? So, before that, or before we fill the paragraph with the word, let's just revise these words together. We have explained them before, but just let's revise them. Okay? Now, we have the word writer. Writer. Now, if someone writes for pleasure, so he is or she is a writer. What the meaning of for pleasure? للمتعة. I just write for pleasure. Okay, so I am what? I'm a writer. Poet. A person who writes poetry. شعر. He is a poet. شاعر. Journalist. Someone who writes in newspapers. He is a journalist. صحفي. Author. Author. If your writings are published, so you are an author. If you write books, okay, if you write novels, if you write stories, if you write anything and you publish your books, so you are an author. مؤلف. Novelist. Someone who writes novels is a novelist. كاتب الروايات. Narrator. Someone who narrates the stories or in the story. راوي. Playwright. Who writes plays. Who writes plays is a playwright. كاتب مسرحي. Okay? So after we have revised these words, let's just do the exercise with filling the gaps with the correct words. Now, okay, so number one, or let's just read the paragraph and then write the words correctly. Now, if you write any kind of published material, you are an what? I have mentioned that if you write anything that is published books, so you are what? Excellent, you are an author. So number one is an author. Okay? If you specifically write for a newspaper or magazine, you are a, what do you think? Yes, you're a journalist. 3. However, if you write fictitious narrative books, fictitious, yes, if you write fictitious narrative books, you are a narrative books. Fictitious here means what? Not real. Not real. Okay? Fictitious means not real. غير حقيقي. So, for example, novels. These narrative books or these not real narrative books are what? Are novels. So you are what? You are a novelist. Excellent. Okay. On the other hand, if you write shorter rhyming pieces, you are a rhyming, those who have rhymes at the end of them. Okay. اللي هي قافية. Rhyming pieces. مقطوعات فيها قافية. تمام. So you are what? You are a poet. If you write dialogue which will be performed, yes, by actors in a theater, you are a. What the meaning of theater? Theater مسرح. Actors ممثلين. So you are what? You are a playwright. If you like writing for pleasure, I have mentioned it at the first or at the beginning of the of explaining the exercise. But you've never had anything published, you might describe yourself as a writer. This is number 6. Okay? So, what is the word that is extra? It's narrator. We didn't use it, or we haven't used it in the text. Now let's move to the next exercise, which is grammar exercise. It is a grammar exercise, and it depends on what? On the gerund and the infinitive form of verbs. And we have explained when do we use the gerund and when do we use the infinitive verbs. Now, here we have 5 verbs: swim, ride, have, study, and play. We have to use these verbs in these sentences and then decide if it has to be a gerund or an infinitive for each one. Number 1, I don't like. In the sea. What do you do in the sea? Do you ride in the sea? Do you study in the sea? Or do you swim in the sea? Of course, I swim. But with the verb like, what do I use? I don't like swimming. Okay? I don't like swimming in the sea. Or you can use what? To swim. Because the verb like can take both ing verb and what? To plus infinitive. Okay? Now, you can say that, okay, what if I use to swim? Isn't better of using, or it's not preferable? Is it not preferable to use to swim than using swimming, or to using swimming? Well, it's preferable to use to swim. Why? Because I have a complement which is in the sea. While if I said I don't like swimming, it's in general. Okay? So you have to say I don't like swimming and stop. But anyway, using both are correct. It's okay. Using both can be correct in this situation because, or this sentence, because we have mentioned that like takes either a gerund or an infinitive. We wanted. Now the verb want must be followed by to plus infinitive. So to what? We wanted to tennis. What do you do with tennis? What do you do with it? Ride, have, study, or play? Of course, to play. Okay, so we wanted to play tennis, but it was raining. Okay, when I was younger, I loved what? I loved ride, have, or study my bike. I loved riding my bike. Right? Can I say also I love to ride my bike? Yes, sure, because the verb love can take what? Both a gerund or an infinitive. So both can be correct. They suggested. The verb suggest takes only a gerund after it. Okay? Having lunch or studying lunch. Of course, it must be having. Having lunch. The last one, he's hoping. Hope is a verb that is followed by infinitive. So what he's hoping to? Study. Okay, he is hoping to study medicine at university. Clear? Now, let's move to the next exercise. Here we have to choose, okay, the correct, oh, no, sorry, not to choose. It said that, yes, we have a dialogue here, and some of the verbs in the dialogue or the bold verbs in the dialogue are what are misused. Not all of them, but some of them. According to what? According to the verb that is preceding them. Okay? If it is correct, keep it. Don't change it. But if it is wrong, you have to rewrite it correctly. So not all of them are wrong. No. Some of them are correct and others are wrong. So let's do them together. Huda and Lubna. Huda. Hi, Lubna. Where are you going? I'm just off to the library. I want taking out some books as we are going on holiday tomorrow. I've just finished to read Jane Eyre. Have you read it? Okay, now let's do the first one. Now the first one is preceded by the verb want. Now want needs what? Needs an infinitive. So it must be what? To take out. Okay? Now, after correcting it, you have a space under this exercise, numbered spaces, okay, or numbered gaps. You have to write them down in these gaps. Number 1 is done for you. It is written for you. You have to write the others. Okay? Now, number 2, I've just finished. Now, finish is a verb that must be followed by what? By a gerund. Right? So this is a mistake here, or also another mistake. It's not finished to read. No, finished reading. Okay? Then, or number 3. Let's move to number 3 and 4. Now, number 3. Oh, I prefer listening to books on CDs because I spend too much time to drive. Okay, now the verb prefer, okay, it's correct to use listening after it as a gerund, right? It takes a gerund after it. I prefer listening, right? So it's correct. There's no need to change it. Number 4, okay, I spend too much time to drive. No, spend is a verb that is followed by verb ing, or which is a gerund. So to drive is wrong, and you have to write what? Driving. Okay? Number 5, I'm considering downloading ebooks from the internet. That way, I'll be able taking more books with me when I travel. 5 and 6. Where's the mistake here? 5 is correct, while 6 what? Must be changed into to take. Why? Because be able, I have mentioned it in the previous video that it must be followed by to plus infinitive. So it must be to take. The last one here, I've just loved to sit by the pool. Or you can say, I love sitting. But both can be correct. This is the last thing for this lesson or for today. Inshallah, next time we are going to explain a new paragraph or a new text. So let's look forward for it. Thank you for watching and listening, and see you inshallah soon. يعطيكم العافية.